You're watching the Florida Caniac Perspective. Go.
Hello, and welcome to the Florida Caniac Perspective. I am the Florida Caniac. In today's episode, we're going to talk about the trades that happened during the deadline. We're going to get into our new segment, Ask the Florida Caniac, where we answer some questions that you might have asked me. And we're going to get into the other new segment called Know Your Caniacs with our special guests, the Taylors. However, we got a little bit of celebration to do, shouldn't we? Let's start off with the obvious thing. The winning streak, the winning, what's going on out there. All of a sudden, Carolina's in a playoff spot. When I was in Raleigh, Edmonton lost 3-1, and Dallas lost 3-0, putting Carolina with a 6-1 goal advantage, and the Florida Caniac is now 7-1 when he's been back to Raleigh since being announced as the Florida Caniac. Oh, how sweet it is. The other news, Carolina is actually in a playoff spot with all the winning and the jerking around and the celebrations, of course. They are actually tied for that Metropolitan Division wildcard spot with Pittsburgh on their tail owning the tiebreaker. However, at the same time, they're not too far behind Columbus either with 1 point on their tail as well. And with Columbus's recent acquisitions, things might get a little different. So in Carolina's trade news, they were a little silent in the trade deadline because Waddell was not going after Reynolds, and who could blame him? You don't want to lose something for nothing. You know what I mean? So in the meantime, they sent Cliff Pooh off packing to Florida. He's going to enjoy some flip-flops and sunshine down in Florida, and he'll probably enjoy it during the offseason anyway since Florida's not making the playoffs or any of their affiliated teams. So Cliff Pooh, if you don't remember, he was that guy we got from the Jeff Skinner trade and was Buffalo's top talent player, but didn't work out so well while in Charlotte. Even got moved down to the Florida Everblades and it just didn't seem to work out, hence why he's packing. However, at the same time, the Hurricanes also acquired Tomas Jurko from the Chicago Blackhawks, who's played 14 games right now in the AHL with the Springfield Thunderbirds this season, who's got himself 10 points, 4 goals, and 6 assists. However, he's played a little over 200 career NHL games with 28 assists and 22 goals, totaling at 50 points, but he's got more penalty minutes than points at 60. He should be reporting to the AHL affiliate, the Charlotte Checkers, sometime soon. Now, what's my take on this whole thing? So my take on this whole thing is pretty much, this is something for the future, not for the now. It seems to me that Carolina is pretty comfortable, or at least Don Waddell and Rod Brindamore seem pretty comfortable with the type of talent that they have right now on the ice. Their big splash was getting Nino Niederreiter anyway, and they got him for a ridiculously good price at Victor Rask, which, I hate to say it, it was sad to see him go, but he needed to go to make room for better talent, in my opinion. And Nino Niederreiter happened to be that better talent. However, with this acquisition, this is definitely for the future, nothing for now, and I think this is something to say about the current situation of this team and how they feel about their playoff chances. Now, what's it feel like to be a player during the trade deadline, or even around the trade deadline? And I'm going to give you two sides of that coin. There's one, the expected trade, and then there's the unexpected trade. So I'll give you the unexpected trade in Victor Rask as this example, which was a recent acquisition between him and Niederreiter. And there might have been some heads up prior to that trade actually happening. So think about it from a player's point of view. If you know you're getting traded or you have the idea of being traded, you can kind of prepare for what's going on. And in the case of Victor Rask, let's just go with the fact that there might be the possibility he didn't know what was going on. If he was married or anything like that, I'm not sure about his personal life, but there's going to be a lot happening in there. Do his kids have to choose a new school? Do you have to pick out new doctors for your daily regular routine checkups? Do you need to figure out where your hangouts are going to be? You need to know your teammates at the same time. The wife, in this case, or significant other or girlfriend, we don't know, or I don't know at least. What's going to be like getting to make new friends? Maybe she enjoys it, maybe it's stressful on her. So you got to look at it from that point of view. The best example of an expected trade or a deal in a way would probably be our very own ex-captain Eric Stahl. Eric Stahl, in this case, we all know wasn't going to be redealt or anything like that. He was a free agent. So he was practically testing the market anyway, knowing that Carolina really wasn't expecting him to come back to the squad anyway. So he gets signed with the Minnesota Wild. Funny how these two teams keep coming up during this chat. And he signs a 3-year deal with them. He had a little bit more time to prepare and get mentally ready for that move. Same for his wife, same for his kids at the same time. Little bit easier when you kind of have an expectation on what to go with. The only variable here is where that location was going to be. However, he was seen to be more mentally equipped in it than Victor Rask. Hopefully that clears that up for everybody. And now on to our next segment, Ask the Florida Caniac, where you put questions up on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, or any other way you see me on social media, and I answer them for you. Let's get to our first question of the day.
Hey RJ, how's it going? Of course you know me, name's Pete. Big Canes fan, been Canes fan since '02. We're current season ticket holders, and right now we're in my aunt's house about to head out to the Dallas game. Just wanted to get your thoughts on the Niederreiter trade, Rask for Nino. Obviously it was a big win for the Canes. Just get your thoughts on it, and what do you think about the impacts it's had for us going forward?
Thanks, Pete, for that question. I think we all know the real answer to this question. It's probably one of the best trades Carolina has done in quite some time. And it's actually paid off with him scoring already 9 goals in this short term with Carolina in only 16 games. He got 9 goals in 46 games when he was with Minnesota. Something's right here in Carolina for Nino Niederreiter. And this was easy. It was a straight up trade for just Victor Rask and Nino. That's it. That's all it was. I couldn't think of any other reason behind it as I looked very deep in sources of what was going on between Nino Niederreiter and the Minnesota Wild, and I came up with nothing. So, all in all, great trade. I love the acquisition, and let's hope he stays longer than the 3 years he has left on this deal. On to the next and final question of the day.
We're a bunch of jerks. So I came here to see if I could get my shirt today. But my question for the Florida Caniac is a simple one. Are Canes fans really a bunch of jerks? What do they think in Florida? Inquiring minds want to know.
Thank you, Tip, for that question. Hope you didn't think too long on the tip of your tongue for that one. Hope you understand the pun. Anyway, to answer your first part of the question, are Caniacs a bunch of jerks? And that's a huge no, in my opinion. Looking around, talking to other fan bases, Carolina Hurricane fans, also well known as Caniacs, as we all know, are some of the friendliest fans in the entire NHL. Not many teams really come close. And could it be because of the mediocrity that the team has had for the past 9 seasons? Perhaps. Or maybe it's the hospitality that the great old state of North Carolina actually provides, which a lot of people call the South. Either way, this is a great area to have a hockey team, and I cannot be even more proud to be a Caniac myself. Now, as far as what the Caniacs in Florida think about it, it's actually the same exact way. The only difference is Canes fans down here don't get the close interaction with the team, much like you guys up there in the Raleigh-Durham area. Unfortunately, we have to literally go by the media and the circus that the media likes to provide. With that said, we just keep it down to earth, and we understand that news is news, and the NHL might have to disagree here and there, and so do the local fan bases, especially the Tampa Bay fans, or even the Florida Panther fans. Hope you guys enjoyed that first segment of the Ask the Florida Caniac. If you guys want to put more questions out there, definitely reach out to me via Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, which will actually be posted at the end of this video. And just type in your question, or you can even send a video submission to rjmeir@icloud.com, and I'll be more than happy to accept those questions. Thank you for those that have participated thus far. And now let's look into our new segment, Know Your Caniacs. This segment features your local Canes fans, Florida, North Carolina, or anywhere in the nation, could be even the world, and we just know a little bit more about those certain fans. This week, I visited the Taylors during my time in Raleigh and got to know a little more about how that wedding really took place. Check it out. Very much for inviting me to your home.
Oh, you're welcome.
Love the hospitality. Love everything you guys brought here, and this room is amazing. So
Thank you.
You should be very, very proud of it. But the reason for the interview today is I really want to talk about that wedding that gained so much publicity. How did that even come about?
Well, I started playing street hockey with John Chase a few years ago, and I just kind of like asked him questions. Just, what would it take? How does someone go about doing something small, during an intermission, or possibly, before the game, somewhere intermission. And he just basically said, let me find out some information. I'll get back to you. So that's what got the ball rolling. And then he just kind of came up with ideas, and then I discussed it with Monica, and we just kind of like started throwing ideas back and forth, and that's what kind of got the ball rolling.
Awesome.
Well, also the fact that I told you I wouldn't get married again unless you could give me my dream wedding, and that's my dream wedding was getting married on the ice. Yeah. So that's kind of how that really started. Yeah.
All right, fair enough. Awesome. How did the whole family react when you guys told them it was going to be on the ice like that?
Oh, they thought it was funny. They
my brother
didn't think it was serious.
My brother thought we were crazy. My dad thought it was cool. My kids thought, my daughter was excited about it. My son just thought we were crazy.
And our friends that were hockey fans thought it was great. They were excited. So I guess it was mixed depending on the person you asked.
Okay. Now, when you talked to I think it was the RBC staff. No, was it RBC? I believe? RBC staff at the time. Sorry, guys. When they brought up this idea, how did they get it? How much time did they need to actually put it all together?
It was about 6 weeks.
Yeah, it was very quick. It was very quick. We had a lot of people on our side. Ron, the ref, was a big factor. He helped a lot.
Yeah, because originally they were going to do it on the corner of the ice during intermission, and Ron was like, no, well, let's do it on the center ice, on the All-Star logo before a game so that they can have time and enjoy it, not be rushed a 3-minute wedding.
Wow. Yeah. So when, obviously, I'm assuming the players knew about this wedding actually happened beforehand. What was their reactions like?
Oh, they thought it was cool.
Yeah, they thought Eric Stahl was like the most excited. He was by far the best example of how good these guys really are. We were at a season ticket holder event, signing event, and we told him what we were doing, and his face just lit up. He was just so excited. He was like, that's great. That's awesome that you guys are such good fans. He said, I want you to do me a favor and make sure that we get notice the day of, so that we know, and the guys, when they come in the locker room, they know, and and maybe we'll come out and take a look. Well, they did, and there was probably 7 or 8 players that came out of the locker
Chad
room.
LaRose, Tim Gleason, Cam Ward, all those guys were so excited to see.
Yeah, they were all excited. I mean, it was great that they were that involved.
Now, have you kept any communication with any of the staff since the wedding, or any of the players, anything like that?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we still see Cam when he's in town, and Eric. We, every time we've seen him after the wedding.
Timmy.
Timmy, Chad.
Yeah, I mean, they're all...
I mean, John Chase we see every game, and Mike Meniscalco and Linda Kraft for the necklace that she let me wear.
Yeah, they were there, so they know everybody really that was there then, that are still there, knows who we are. And we've had staff throughout the years even say, oh, you guys were the couple that got married on ice. And there was, everybody was there. All the staff came out and stood at their stations and the whole time. So it was really cool.
Well, the Canes Vision did a big thing for us, too. I mean, they came in on their time off and did the lights. And so that kind of became a tradition for us. When they score a goal, we kissed. When we kissed that day of our wedding, they did the lights and the siren. It's the Carolina Hurricanes goal.
The whole 9 yards.
So our tradition is every time they score, we always kiss. That's just kind of like our thing.
It's a nice tradition.
So,
and they came in on their own time.
Yeah.
They heard about it and they wanted to do something special.
Stormy didn't charge.
He wanted to make sure that he was involved. He just thought it was fitting, along with the Bailey's box. So.
And my understanding was Stormy was your ring bearer, am I correct?
Yes.
He was the ring bearer.
We went and asked him if he would be, during one of the games, we went up when he was in costume and said, hey, we're getting married. What would be the odds you would do our wedding? He was like, yep. And, the Canes did not charge us for any of those times. Normally, because Stormy to make appearances, money, and Ron the ref was money and everything, and he was absolutely... everybody contributed their own time, and even the Storm Squad, because I was getting ready in their room when they came in and found out what was happening. They said, well, can we come to your wedding? So they all came out to watch the wedding. So, it kind of grew as more people found out.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. Now, I understand the Lightning game was to follow after that. They won the game 6-2, if I last remember on that game. What was that like? How were your seats? Everything like that. Tell me a little bit about the game afterwards.
Well, the interesting to back
Assuming
up.
you remember it, I
well,
should
the
say.
to go back up a little bit. We were at one of the season ticket holder events, and we were getting our cake topper signed, and we were letting the guys know as we were getting it signed that we were getting married, and we had told Cam Ward, and he said, "Oh, well, who were we playing that night?" And at the time when we planned, Tampa wasn't doing too good. So he looked over at the board and he goes, "Oh." At the time when we mentioned it to him, they were on fire.
Right.
So
We didn't have high expectations.
we didn't really have a high expectation of that game. We celebrated in the Champions Club. That's where we had the reception.
Nice.
And
Chef
sad.
Flood was gracious enough to come and cut the cake on his
Chef
time,
Dennis.
and Chef Dennis. So that's where we pretty much celebrated during the game. Before the game, we got to hang out at the
Ledge Bar.
The Ledge Bar, and that's where things really started.
The drinking.
The drinking, and it was a fun night from what I can gather, but it was great. I mean,
It was a lot of fun, baby. I enjoyed
then we
it.
had we the game, we won. It was a great celebration, and then we went out afterwards and went on the town, and I have pictures and stories that I follow to see what happened the rest of the night.
Fair enough. Well, again, guys, I think the whole world would say that that's an amazing accomplishment that somebody got married on the ISS. That's definitely something my wife and I argued for a long time. We got Disney, which is a good second place. I'm not going to argue that one, but for what you guys did, highly commendable, amazing job from what you guys are telling me, and best of luck, and wish you guys best of happiness from years to come.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, guys.
Thank you.
I'd like to thank the Taylors once again for their amazing hospitality and their generosity during my time in the Raleigh area. If you do like to know more about this story, definitely check out the local news radio and the news sites. And back in 2011 when the wedding took place, I'm sure you could find some archives in those areas as well. If you happen to be at a game and you happen to meet them, stop and say hi and mention that you saw this video, and I'm sure they would greatly appreciate it. I'd like to thank those for watching today's episode of the Florida Caniac Perspective. Tune in to the next episode where our next interview will be KP Pearson and the Red Eye Rowdies. As always, guys, let's keep this team going on. Sir John, and as always, go Canes.